Hello everybody. Today we are going to study curve of energy profile diagram for reaction with and without catalyst. This is the energy profile diagram for exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction means a reaction which will release heat. So, energy for the reactant is higher compared to the product. Red graph represents reaction pathway without catalyst, and orange graph represents reaction pathway with catalyst. The peak of the curve, this one, peak of the curve is called transition complex. And the different energy between reactant and the transition complex is called activation energy. By refer to the graph without catalyst, this is the reactant, the energy for the reactant, and this is the energy for the transition complex. So the difference between energy for reactant and the transition complex represented by this arrow. And this is activation energy without catalyst. By refer to the graph with catalyst, this is the different energy between reactant and the transition complex, this one, this area. So, this area represents the activation energy for reaction with catalyst. So the conclusion is, with the presence of catalyst, the activation energy is lower. Now, let's look at endothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction means reaction which will absorb heat. So, the energy for the product is higher compared to the energy for the reactant. The purple graph represents reaction pathway without catalyst, while the black graph represents reaction pathway with catalyst. The blue arrow, this one, the blue arrow represents different energy between transition complex and the reactant. So the blue arrow represents activation energy without catalyst. By refer to the graph with catalyst, this is the difference in energy between reactant and the transition complex. This arrow represented by the red arrow here. So this red arrow represents activation energy with catalyst. And the difference in energy between reactant and the product. Different energy between reactant and product, we call it as delta H, enthalpy change. This one you will study in the next chapter. Okay, so the conclusion is, with the presence of catalyst, the activation energy is lower. When activation energy is lower, more molecules will have kinetic energy greater than or same with activation energy. So, the frequency of effective collision increase and the reaction rate increase. Thank you.